Okay. So one thing that I think will be helpful is to also document the types of questions you've had in the past, when the types of questions that your manager comes up with that seem to delay. So they are like lessons learned, so that for subsequent transactions, you check them off before they get to your manager. So that by the time your
Okay.
manager is asking, have you done this? Have you done this? Yes, yes, yes. So it will reduce the approval time,
Okay.
in my opinion. So I found, because I like to tell this story, because I like it. I think it's a fantastic story. When I started out as an engineer, I studied chemical engineering, and then I got into a role for a technical safety engineer. So when I got in, my discipline, we were always behind on everything, as in all our deliverables, we were in the red. And that was because my supervisor was the only one that was knowledgeable enough to do the work, and he was overwhelmed with work. He was overwhelmed, honestly. So I spoke with the other guy. We were both graduate engineers. I spoke with the guy that was with me that, see, we just come here, we are just on the internet browsing. That's not what we left our house for. How about we pick these deliverables that we are supposed to start with, and just start, even if it's nonsense, we start, but at least we can take the template. And thankfully, the project we were working on was for us to validate and a project that was already worked on by another organization. So they already had the deliverables in another template that wasn't our own template. So I just told the guy that, see, you take one, let me take one. But at least we will be able to learn to know how they do these things. That let's just take the template and let's just copy over what they did in the previous project into our own new template. Then we send it to my manager for him to review. And then based on his comments, we will know what we did right and what we did not do right. So we both of us, so first of all, we worked on two different deliverables. So, and the way we weight progress where in the engineering field, engineering design, is that once you have started, you've put something in a template, even if it's nonsense you did there, you at least get maybe 10% progress. Some people will make it 20, depending on what they have. So the fact that we did that, our nonsense that we did, still earned us progress for two deliverables immediately. So we sent what we did to him, to my supervisor, for him to review. So he did, and I also observed my supervisor that he's not a starter. He doesn't like starting things. But if you give him something for him to review, the speed at which he reviews it is fast. So I was like, oh, I see that. So I kept driving myself and the other guy. We would start it, even if it's nonsense. We started, we would at least do something, and then my supervisor would review it within a day, for example. And by the time he has reviewed it, the first set that we got, we had red markers everywhere, but we were not discouraged. So we started looking at the high quality of comments he was making. So by the time we were going to send the next set to him, I told my colleague that he should send the one he had done by himself to me, and I would send the one I had done to him, so that we would do the first level of checking by ourselves and see if my supervisor is going to have the same type of comments again. But what we were doing was that we were learning the things we should not be doing. So as we were growing, the number of red marks were reducing. And the interesting thing is that I think it was last year or 2 years ago, my supervisor left Nigeria. He's American. He left Nigeria, he went to whatever. And I just woke up one day and I saw that he gave me a glowing recommendation on LinkedIn. And I was like, what's going on? Next thing, I got a call from an American organization. He had he had put my CV forward, and he was recommending me for the job because I think they wanted him to work, and he was recommending me. But unfortunately, we weren't able to go through with it because it was something that had to do with the US Army or something, and they are very, very particular about who does work for them. So they wanted the person to be an American. That was the only reason why I didn't go forward with that job. But the recommendation he gave me on LinkedIn is still there. And it was my supervisor. So imagine getting that level of recommendation from someone that they can verify what you worked with. And that was just and for him, it was like that. He just couldn't believe the level of what they call it, the fact that I took that initiative to start, even if it was nonsense I started with. So he was like, it deeply impressed him that he liked the quality of thought that led to that work. So that's why I really like to share that story, that you may not know it all, but at least make sure that you don't make the same mistakes twice. If your supervisor asks you some of these questions from the last transaction, make note of them so that the next transaction that you're working on, you don't make those same mistakes again. You can make other mistakes, but make sure that you don't make the same mistake twice. And then as you continue, your productivity improves as you look at the level of things that he has concerns with. So you know that, okay, this is what this time he said that we shouldn't do Naira currency, that we should sell USD. So you know that the next client you're talking with, you are going to already propose the USD thing to them as you're talking. So you don't have to first of all get it to your manager, then he will send you back to go and do the same thing again. So you pick that. Maybe another time he says, oh, this thing that you put Shanghai in is actually supposed to be maybe Turkey. You note that again, so that next time you can ask the guy, why is this Turkey? Why is it not Shanghai? He explains to you, and then you know that, okay, next time you go, you ask him, is there a guide? What if another time maybe he tells you that because it's because it's something above 500 USD, that's why it's now Turkey. So you can then ask him that, guy, is there a guide I can refer to so that I can know that when I get to this particular threshold, I will not use Turkey. Maybe I'll need to use the US at that time. So I hope that answers. Or do you have any more questions? I think that's the way
No, I
to ask.
don't have any more. That's fine.
And I hope this answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to go on to the rest of the slides. So in conclusion, we are really focused on time management first, but this is the first of many webinars that we're going to be having, because if we are saying that we are a community of virtual assistants, I want to ensure that it's the best of us that we are putting forward. So we may not come in as the best, we may not be the best when we came in, but one thing I like to say is that the quality of your institution should be such that even if it is the worst of people that comes in, you should design your system so that even if the worst person comes in, that's the person that everybody had given up on, that he or she cannot succeed. The person comes into your institution and they spend 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. By the time they are going, you should have designed systems in place such that they will come out in flying colors, such that everyone will now go like, who are these people? Who are they? And the analogy that makes me know that I'm not saying nonsense is the fact that Jesus Christ took 12 unlearned men, 12 men that did not, they were from different backgrounds. They were just anyhow. You had people that were fishermen. They were not the elite of the society. They were not the 1% of the 1% when they met with him. But by the time he was sending them out into the world, people had to take note and note that they had been with Jesus Christ, because they were not the unlearned men that came in that were now talking to them. They could see some level of sophistication and class. And so for me, I believe that we need to have all of these sessions, and also that we clean out the rough edges. So as we go out and say, give us work to do, they know that once we put our our seal or our stamp on it, they know that that's quality. And that's because we are willing to invest in our people. And I said that to say this. We are still going to be calling on different people in the group for you to come talk to us and in your different areas of skill that can help us as virtual assistants. But when I was thinking that, oh, let's start asking everybody in the group, the the question that was thrown at me by God was, what have you, Adenike, done? Because for me to come ask you to train, I should have invested in you. And that's why I said, okay, let's get started with this time management one. I probably will take more sessions, but I would like to call on everyone. If there's anything that you feel like you can share with us that would help us as virtual assistants, please send a message. Send a message to me, send a message to my virtual. I have an executive assistant because she's not virtual, she's with me, she's here with me in person, and that's because it works well. So you can send a message to either of the numbers and we'll be happy to give you a slot because we really want to skill up. Apologies for the way this my image came up. I don't know, I'm pained because it was beautiful when I did it on Canva. So that's just to say that I'll be having more webinars, and I just picked a time this time because I wanted us to start. We are going to be more, it will be more inclusive when we are picking our times from now on. And so stay connected with us. If you have anything you want to share, send us an email, oaaaventures@gmail.com. That we have a LinkedIn profile. I would I'll probably drop the LinkedIn profile in the group description as well. And of course, we're on Instagram, OAAA Ventures. We're on Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, still OAAA Ventures. And I noticed that Tobiloba, Oluwatobiloba joined us as we were asking and answering questions. So I don't know. I'll just give her a bit of time to speak. Oluwatobiloba, do, do you have any questions or do you have anything you'd like to share? Hello.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good evening for me.
Good evening, ma. I don't have any question for now, but I'm going to. I have a question about the virtual assistant stuff, but I'm going to send it to your DM personally.
You can ask now if there's nothing confidential about it. We can take advantage of this time to answer so that it will be on record forever.
Okay, ma. So the question I have is, I've always seen these virtual assistant everywhere, like on TikTok, on Facebook, and I don't know which course to take to be able to be a virtual assistant. I don't even understand the concept, like the whole thing about the virtual assistant. I don't know what it entails. But it was
That's
when I was going through the
that's because you
that
and
I
I we've not
saw
had
the
our
link.
one-on-one session. We've not okay, you just joined. That's true, you just joined.
Okay.
So typically, you and
Yeah.
I are going to schedule a one-on-one session. We'll talk, and then there's a form you're going to fill to let us know which of the
Okay.
skills. So we've listed out a couple of skills that you may already have. So these webinars are supposed to help us so that when we've identified what people need versus what they have, we are trying to help with skilling up. But you can start out as a virtual assistant just with data entry. So the idea of the virtual assistant is like a personal assistant, but because you are not going to be in the same physical space as the person that you're working for, that's why you're virtual. Virtual means that you're supporting online.
Okay.
So for example,
Okay, yes, fine.
I need someone to help me manage my Instagram handles, and maybe I'm a fashion designer, and let's say I have someone around me that can help me take pictures, but I'm too busy to upload, do all the things I need to do to make my page, would I say, pop? so that people, the different things people are supposed to do to increase visibility. It is, I don't have time for all of that. All I just want to do, or let me use the perfect example of the people that cook, because the caterers, they usually are too busy cooking, and also will, as a virtual assistant, I probably will ask them that, please get, when you're going out, when you're going to serve, just get someone that will help you take pictures and make videos and send them to me. I will, so when I get all the pictures and videos, I'll tell them, please make it sharp, please don't let it be just blurry pictures and all. So they send them to those videos and pictures to me. I probably will do some video editing. I'll come up with catchy captions. I'll do all the things that improve visibility on the gram, so that we can bring followers to their page, so that then they can then post online. In fact, I've done some work for someone. He told me that, oh, he has a lot he wants to write about, but that he doesn't speak good English, and that he doesn't even write good English either. And he's a fashion designer. That he has pictures and all of that, but that his captions are usually weak because he's not able to translate his thoughts very well to English and write it in a way that people can connect. So I told him that, okay, you know what you're going to do? Just write it as you're thinking it in your head. Write it in Yoruba. Write it anyhow you're feeling. Send it to me. Then I'm going to look at it and help you polish your caption. So he will send to me, I will look at it, we will polish it, I'll send it to him, I'll ask him to read it and see if it fits what he's trying to say. And then when we agree, then I'll be the one to help him post, because he's a tailor, he's busy. So I'll help him post, and we would run it until he got to the point where he felt more confident to do it himself and all. So for me, that was a virtual assistant role, because I wasn't sitting in the shop doing anything for him. We were doing everything on WhatsApp and all of that. We just had one meeting where we talked about his expectations. But these days with Zoom, you don't even have to go in person. But the thing is that the virtual assistant role requires, there are different things people will need a virtual assistant for. Some people will need you to maybe do graphic designs for them. Some people may even need you to develop their website. So the question you asked about which course can I take, there is a wide range. So it depends on what you want to do. But so what we also do in the group is that sometimes when I see something that I believe will be helpful for virtual assistants in terms of skills. So if you check in the group description, you see a couple of links here and there. Those should answer your question, and I'll send you the link for you to schedule your one-on-one session with me so that we can get you started. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. So thank you both for showing up today. I am definitely going to think of something to give you. So I know what I'm going to give you. You are going to get the slides. Everybody else will not get the slides. But please go and register though, so that I'll be able to justify why I gave you the slides. And I'll send you the slides by email so you can go back to them and read up on them. And when I upload the videos on YouTube, everyone will get the link anyway. But you'll get the link first. The others will probably get their link maybe 2 weeks later. All right. Thank you so much. In the absence of any other question, I'll just like to thank God for our first official webinar as a community. And I'd like to thank God for the people that showed up. Thank you for your questions. God bless you, and good night.
Good night.